How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Silver Screen and Chill. My name is Matt.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Ian.
And this week we're talking about the new movie that just came out, Barbershop 3, The Next Cut.
Yeah, it was a really good movie, actually, surprisingly. I remember us looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score and thinking, wow, 90%. We could probably check this out.
Yeah, it was really high.
Yeah, it was really high. It was good though. I'd never seen part 1 or 2, so I didn't really know what I was getting into. Mm-hmm. But it was a good movie. It has it's one of the flaws that I just kind of bugged me is they got a lot of messages. They have a really good message, a lot of good things that you should be aware of that are going on in the world. But man, do they lay it on thick. They don't really give you any wiggle room to think, oh, what do they think? It's like they just up front tell you.
It's very blunt.
And they really get on the soapbox with it.
What they're thinking about it is, hey man, we're going to lay this on really thick and Cedric the Entertainer will just tell us hilarious things in the background.
and
really help move this movie.
I feel like, I think Ice Cube's really in charge of the Barbershop series. I'm not too sure.
I believe so.
I feel like he saw what's been going on in the world and all this stuff, and he thought, we need like a platform to speak on this, and a very popular franchise like Barbershop could be that.
Yeah, actually,
speaking point.
Yeah, actually, I saw because the Sports Center had Ice Cube on after Kobe's 60-point game, and so it was obviously to promote Barbershop, and he came out and said actually that they've been wanting to make a part 3 for a really long time, but they didn't have anything meaningful to put behind it. So that further proves your point that he needed like something big to be happening.
Some kind of like just a platform.
Yeah, and the stuff that's happening in Chicago is really horrible.
It is really horrible, and that's why I was like, I get it. It's a good message, but just from like an entertainment standpoint, really laid it on pretty thick.
Yeah, but
pretty thickly.
I think they did, but I also give them credit because I think they did a good job of. It would be humor, like a good amount of humor, and then let's talk serious for a minute. Then more humor. And let's talk serious.
I like that too.
I think they switched off.
I like that
a lot. So it didn't bug me.
I like that too. Also, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's really windy over here. So if you hear the windows shaking or anything, everything's fine. It's just wind. I swear to God, it may have. But anyways, I agree. They kind of like they would balance it out with serious moments and funny moments. But sometimes it almost felt like they wouldn't let you have fun. Like you get like a quick funny scene, then all of a sudden like bam, like right away, like here's something really depressing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it almost felt like they wouldn't let me have fun with these guys. But the funny parts are good.
Yeah, I actually really like the humor in this. I never saw the first Barbershop. I saw the second one, and I think in each one they do try to convey like a deep social issue that's going on.
Okay, so they do that usually.
I think so, but I saw the second one a very long time ago, so I don't remember liking it, but I guess it's because I wasn't aware of what was going on to really get it. I was like, oh,
you're a young kid who doesn't care about social issues.
Yeah, or
boob jokes.
Yeah, or just like, oh, what's this movie about? I didn't see the first one. You know, you just feel that disconnect for not even seeing the first one. But this one, I think you could see it without seeing.
No, of course not. Yeah, I've never seen either of them, and I followed the story fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. But it was a very interesting story talking about what's going on currently in the Chicago South Side. But I really liked they have obviously good chemistry with that group with Ice Cube, Common, Cedric the Entertainer. Cedric the Entertainer is really hit or miss for me a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But he really, I loved him in this.
He was definitely the driving force of the comedy. Him and the other guy, I can't remember his name. They said he was gay or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember.
Not gay.
I don't remember his
New
name.
Girl.
Yeah, Lamorne Morris.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Lamorne Morris.
What you said about chemistry. They got a really all-star like studded cast. Like this cast looked expensive.
Yeah,
I think because of that, there was another flaw that I found was there was just so many storylines going on, and they had to like really like tie up everything at the end. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There was just a lot going on. There's even a part where one of the kids that comes in, he gets shot. And because it was so long ago, and because there's so much going on, they had to actually flash back to remind us who that was. I forgot who that was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like everyone needed their moment to shine kind of in this movie.
Just going off that real quick, I think, I don't remember them naming him. I remember them like
just
showing
Anthony
him.
or Andrew
yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, they said like, oh, Anthony was shot, and I was like, oh man, I knew it was sad. It's like someone getting shot, and that sucks, and it's terrible. But I was like, wait, which one's Anthony? And because I couldn't remember names. Names are hard to remember for the most part. And I was like, oh, they shot that. That's really sad, you know.
Yeah.
But they had if they didn't do that, I wouldn't remember.
No, I agree.
Like, I don't think they named him really fast.
It's just funny that they had to flash back to it because like there's just so much shit going on.
But I think it also was just for some dramatic effect of showing like, look, he was a really good kid. And
I also kind of didn't like that they did that so much. Like, there's a really good scene where Ice Cube's driving to go save his son from being gang initiated.
Yeah.
And they had to flash back to those moments, but it's like, don't treat your audience so dumb. You know, we understand what's going on. Do you know what I'm saying?
I guess that's a kind of a theme in our podcast because Matt just brought that up last week, and now you're bringing that up.
About just don't assume the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
give us more credit.
I'm sure the audience that is seeing these movies, they're not stupid. We get how important it is, you know? What is it? Less is more sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Less is more effective.
Yeah, so I guess we all kind of had a little bit of problems. I thought the editing, like being very, very pretentious obviously right now, but with the editing sometimes it didn't seem very smooth.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought that they, like you said, they got the message across totally.
Yeah, they definitely did.
They were able, the humor was great. I thought, because with the whole Barbershop series, I think that's where a lot of, where all the barbershop talk happens, and they did that very well.
Yeah,
how they just bounce off each other, and they're just talking shit.
Yeah, because it's just it's just
such a social event.
A lot of the banter going on. That's that's the heart of the movie.
Yeah,
the daily banter.
Yeah, I forgot the guy's name, but the guy that was a customer that stayed there too long.
Yeah, and he's like
he's just living there, and he's just
was he a customer?
Yeah, that was
there.
one thing I didn't know. I thought he worked there too. I didn't know he was a customer till he was dusting off his pants, and they were like, some of the customers that stay here too long.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He was really funny because they always give him like the little, they're talking and then he just kind of had like the side remark.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's funny just butting in.
Definitely the comedic relief.
Which you need a lot of with this movie.
Yeah. It felt like the dialogue didn't stop in this movie.
Yeah, that's very true.
It was just we're going, and then it didn't bug you because it was always just like joke, serious.
Yeah.
Like I was saying,
that's how they chopped it up rather than
It was really quickly paced, and then I don't think it got boring for a movie that stays relatively in one setting. It really didn't go anywhere else besides the barbershop. Sometimes the back room and like a little bit the school and outside, but really 95% of the movie is in the barbershop, and I didn't care.
It kept you very entertained, and that's a lot of that credit is due to the cast and the writing. I want to say probably a good portion of it's probably improv. Yeah, that's a lot to write in a script. You know what I mean? And you kind of need it to be that organic, and then it felt
because then it wouldn't feel like a barbershop.
Yeah, they felt like a community. The cast felt like their own community.
It was a
group of people.
The cast definitely helps. Definitely supported the movie, and
I felt though if we had a bigger budget podcast and we were able to show clips of the barbershop, that we would have to count the amount of times they zoomed in on Nicki Minaj.
Oh my god!
God damn, they kept zooming in on Nicki Minaj.
There was a lot of gratuitous shots of her ass.
They were probably like, she's not an incredible actor, so we're just gonna have you like wear these ridiculous outfits and just kind of show your ass a lot.
Yeah, I think they did really well with her.
They had the whole like one shot of like I don't know if they're trying to put something online, but it's just she's just twerking.
Yeah.
For some reason though, I feel like that wasn't her. I felt like
I don't think it was either because they wouldn't show her face.
Yeah, they wouldn't show her face, and she was kind of like
and not saying anything.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's not her. But they did play that she had a fat ass, and they had to just keep like, okay, and there's a serious moment, and where we're going, like. I feel like they had a quota to meet.
Yeah, no kidding.
Honestly, it really felt that way. It kind of felt like a cheap, like, little, like, this will get them talking. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They were right. Look what
we can't not. She's probably the biggest celebrity in the. Well, I mean, Ice Cube's, but I'm saying like
common
in terms. But I mean, in terms of like a young demographic and like mainstream, like Nicki Minaj is in your face everywhere. It's on TV all the time. Totally. Ice Cube's not on TV as much anymore.
Yeah.
And then I really liked what they did about what this movie tried to do of hitting home the issues of like gun violence and just violence in general in Chicago and kids and like with kids and stuff. It was I liked what they did was because they had an example in their own movie with Ice Cube's son. Almost being in a gang and going through that in his own life. But then they also list a bunch of real life examples of that today. Like it wasn't like trying to be in an imaginary, like its own made up setting. It took place in
today.
Today in our society when it's talking about Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Eric Garner
Mm-hmm.
and all the innocent people that died.
Yeah.
They did a really good job of just getting that point across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real problem. It's a horrible problem that's happening right now, and like we were saying earlier, it's just a good platform for them to announce it off of.
Yeah. It's been nuts just reading the stuff going on in Chicago. Yeah. It's like 70% more people that get shot in Chicago are black and stuff like that. So it's like the government's gone through the Chicago PD and really they're hitting them hard right now. Mm-hmm. So hopefully stuff like this brings it up again.
Yeah, and we have a lot of protesters going on. A lot of people complain about the Black Lives Matter protests being, I don't know. I've heard a lot of complaints about it, and then I've heard a lot of good things about it. One good thing you have to say is like it's getting attention. You know what I mean? It's raising a lot of awareness.
The issue out there.
It's raising a lot of awareness, and sometimes, unfortunately, you have to like be aggressive. You know what I mean? To get your point. Like, I remember a lot of people were complaining that they went onto the Bernie Sanders speech and they, like, took his, they hijacked it. Which, you're watching, you're like, oh, it sucks because, it's not him.
But, like, he's actually for Black Lives Matter.
But they have to do that because you gotta listen. Fucking listen.
You look at certain things and they try to stay quiet, try to stay peaceful, and then nothing fucking happens.
And you get violent.
You have to like kind of shake it up a little bit, because they're being aggressive in a non-violent way, which you can't be mad if it doesn't come to violence. You can't be mad at it, really.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that's what the movie tried to do, is try to show that there's better ways to go about it. They did it through their ceasefire, which for some reason Ice Cube was in charge of and not the gang leaders anymore. But through that, like, bringing the community together in the barbershop.
Something ironic about Ice Cube stopping gang violence. This guy was saying fuck the police like 20 years ago. But people grew up
today, But with that too, I want to go back to the ceasefire. How did it stop? Like, they didn't tell anybody when Ice Cube's like, I'm done with this ceasefire, and he leaves. Did they text the gang members? Go back to shoot each other.
Yeah, that was the only way that makes sense.
And then ceasefire back on. Yeah.
A good point they hit on too is that the kid Anthony, right? His name Anthony gets shot. He gets shot and dies even though they do all this stuff, and it's true because you could do as much as you want, and you know what, man, it is what it is.
You're not going to stop everything.
It's not going to stop everything. People are still going to die. But like they said, maybe we saved like 30 lives.
Yeah.
You got to look at it that way.
You got to think of it in the long game.
Yeah.
And it's cool because, like, especially watching it linearly happen, sometimes you're just watching things happen. You're not really thinking it through. So when you hear stuff like, you have to think of it as it saved 30 lives. They didn't just take away one, because you're not always thinking like that. So it was cool that they brought that in.
Yeah. One thing that I didn't agree with, story wise, is in the movie Ice Cube wants to get his son Calvin. His name's Calvin.
No,
Calvin is it Jay?
Jalen's his son.
Yeah, Calvin's the dad. Though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Calvin wants to get his son Jalen out of the area because really bad neighborhood, and he's messing with gang members and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And he has the smart idea of thinking as a father first. He's thinking of it as a father first to move. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But then they give him all this shit for it, and it's kind of like, and they were giving him a lot of shit for it, like saying he's betraying them, blah blah. You could be mad, but Ice Cube's not wrong.
That's
you need to get your son out of there.
That's exactly what he said too.
But then at the end, he's kind of like, you're right. It's you're not right.
I think they were trying to get at is not everybody has that luxury of just being able to get out,
but he does.
He does, yeah.
And he's a father, so.
And when you can, you can. You know?
Yeah, that's when I was like, no, Calvin is 100% right in this situation. You could be mad at him, but he is a father first.
Yeah,
and he's said that.
He said that. He made it a good point.
It just, they feel like there's just such a opportunity here for them to stand together and really rally around this community.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
which is good, and I think that they see Calvin being a very important part of it.
Absolutely.
So if he were to leave, it would take a huge hit.
I agree with
that. That's why he feels like it's right to stay.
I agree with it. It's not entirely wrong to stay,
but he's also not
wrong.
In a realistic standpoint.
I'm telling you right now,
get out.
You get your kid out of there because that's your kid.
When you look at it, neither of the points are wrong. So he wasn't going to make a wrong decision.
Yeah.
It just, like, he went with the principle of just staying with his town and, like, helping rally around that.
They shouldn't have given him so much grief for that.
I agree.
I would have been like, hey, you know what? I'm out of a job now. This kind of sucks, but I get it.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I understand it's for your son. But I guess they tried to, like, rebuttal my argument by saying, okay, well, his son was put in that scenario and he did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, look at it this way.
He turned down the gang.
What's was scary is how they kind of made it seem like even if he said no, the gang would have.
Oh, in real life, he might have been dead.
Yeah,
they might have killed him.
But they needed it not.
Yeah, I'm glad because that would have been really heavy.
We
already understand the extent of it.
They killed Anthony for that reason.
Exactly.
I knew someone was
Anthony
talking about gun violence enough throughout the whole story. I was like, they're gonna lose somebody, and it's gonna be like a hard hit for everybody.
I was glad it wasn't one of their kids because I wouldn't have been able to take this movie seriously if Common or Calvin's son died. And then they were back making jokes 20 minutes later in the shop. Yeah. So I was glad it wasn't one of their kids because they would have had to bring them back.
Yeah, because it fucked them up, but like not horribly.
But it wouldn't have been something where like, well, that character's not going to be the same every
year.
Yeah. Just devastate him for life.
Yeah, but the thing that I see with when you're talking about Calvin moving out and how they give him grief, the way I see it is like when LeBron left for the Miami Heat. Like, he won championships so he can give you a big fuck you and maybe come back later to try to salvage the situation. Yeah. But people are always going to give people shit for making themselves better when they can't go with them. Mm-hmm. So
it's like he wasn't even making himself better. He wasn't even making himself better. Like he was, but like he was really looking out for his. I really believe he was looking out for his son.
Yeah, he was looking out for his son through and through.
Yeah,
the whole movie.
And I'm sorry, that's what I would do.
I think that's what that's like the point he makes from the start of the movie. He's like, Chicago, you're a great city, but at the end of the day, my kid matters more than.
Yeah, and it should.
Yeah, exactly.
And it totally should.
Yeah, and I think, the cast coming together, making it feel like a great thing, I think was really, it helped the movie a lot. It made it feel just more like, yeah, everybody's getting along. Yeah. See, like, it can happen. It had just a really positive message.
Yeah, it felt good. It was a very feel-good movie, despite its heavy material and sometimes very adult-themed content. It was a very family feel-good film.
Yeah,
it felt good after.
Yeah.
I was really happy to see them raise awareness, and it was a success. They got it trending on Twitter, which I like. They use that because. That's
totally how it would
happen.
Yeah, you gotta use social media these days.
You never know with movies, they'll be like, oh, millennials and their damn technology. Yeah. You never know, so I was glad they at least acknowledged.
Yeah, but then they poke fun at it sometimes,
Well, it is
with
easy.
World Star.
Oh, yeah.
No
World Star.
World Star fight!
But also, they did the right thing of having Winston from New Girl filming vertically, not... horizontally,
not
vertically.
I need to pick that up. That's right.
He was always filming like that. Like I feel like that's a little jab at people that film vertically, and it's like, no, you gotta do it this way.
I didn't even notice that. But that's a good point to bring up.
Because it's. But then you had good cameos, like Anthony Davis's cameo.
Yeah, he was in it. Big fucking dude. I always knew he was big.
This shot in this to make him look huge. Like he is.
He is a big dude.
I gotta think. Cedric the Entertainer and Ice Cube. They're not tall men.
But. That
Common's kind of tall, and he was towering over Common.
Yeah, even if you're tall, basketball players are over.
Yeah.
I'm always on the fence, and I've been like this since I've watched him in movies. I can't tell if Common's a good actor or not. Part of me says he's a good actor, and the part of me is like, I don't know. He has the little soliloquy in the car when he's talking about how he wants to hook up Nicki Minaj, and I was like, God, some shitty acting. But then sometimes he has some really good scenes.
I thought that was really real though. Like that was such a funny dude conversation with yourself. Like,
but I feel like I wouldn't say it out loud. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I didn't see
the whole plot with him and Nicki Minaj was so I feel like it was a relatable plot for a lot.
It was, but it did feel kind of shoehorned in there just to give Nicki Minaj more things to do. You know what I mean?
But I've definitely had that fight.
And to get more shots of her butt.
Yeah.
They needed that.
And that is a realistic fight between Common and his wife. Have they get in a fight because Nicki Minaj's character, she's hitting on Common, and they get in a little Three's Company misunderstanding.
That's still perfect. Three's
Company. Oh god! But just the whole fight of he drove her home and you get yelled at for driving someone home.
Well, that's real.
Oh god!
And they bring up a lot of other real good points. I think they just lay it on too thickly. I know they talk about. Men on Instagram, they see these women, you see these beautiful women. Yeah. We're all guilty of it. You see these beautiful women on Instagram, and your standards kind of raise.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, and that is something that's true. But women do the same thing.
Yeah, I think that they made a good point of touching those issues,
and they
images of women. Yeah, they just. I think that was really helped out of having the barbershop side and the salon side of the shop. It was really a way of a good device of having here's the women's perspective and here's the men's perspective, and then everyone presents their arguments, and then that's it. That's
yeah,
how it is.
yeah, it was cool.
It worked really well.
It's nothing new, but it's good for barbershop banter.
We've
all had this discussion with men. We've seen it on the internet billions of times. It's nothing new, but it's good for banter. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm thinking right now that I just realized? There was a character in the beginning of this movie. There's this white guy, and he's getting his hair cut, and they say how he likes thick girls, or he likes fat girls, right? Doesn't it feel like he had more scenes, but they cut them all out? Because he never, not even came back during the gang violence. Nothing. I think they even later say, hey, we all hate white people. I was just in the movie. You know what I mean? They were all friends.
And wasn't really that Precious?
The girl he was kissing? Yeah, that was Gabrielle's.
Just because
I'm pretty sure it was.
Just in case you were wrong. Yeah, that sucks. But like, she's a big time actress, and she didn't get any more time.
It really feels. I swear to God, it really feels like it was too long, and they cut out like
all their stuff.
Maybe,
yeah, that was really.
It was because there was enough storylines.
And I just thought of that, like right now, like.
and I didn't really understand. JB Smooth's character.
I love JB Smooth.
Is that Leon?
That's Leon from
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he was really funny, but it was like, so is he a barber? Is he like a guy to give you like?
He's kind of like a con dude. I think he's kind of like a con dude that they let stick around.
I couldn't tell if he was like, is he supposed to be sleazy? Is he a good guy?
Yeah, it's like what does he do? Like
he's your sleazy friend.
Does he not cut hair? Does he just kind of like help you out?
I think it was like
he's also a real estate agent.
You remember Grand Theft Auto when you get in the ice cream truck and you sell weed?
Yeah,
I think that was what they were like. That's kind of his like gig, but side gig, but his real gig is doing a little some.
Yeah, because like you said,
he did everything. That's why they call him One Stop. He's did everything in one spot.
I really liked it. Like, I thought it was really funny when they were when he was doing the pigeon, and he was describing the pigeon, Mike Tyson's pigeon. He goes, "It flies away and it comes back. This ain't coming back."
Did he give him back his money at the end?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So they can stay at that spot.
You know what was really funny? Bringing up that scene where he gives him the money back at the end. He's like, "This ain't what you think it is," and I was like, "Oh, is that not his money?" And it was. And it's like, so what did he think it was?
Yeah, right.
Well, because he said it was never going to come back. He said the money was never going to come back.
Yeah, but it was obviously like something in the thing. He's like, but it's not what you think it is, and it's like, oh, it's not. You're not.
Basically, Matt's saying, "Who are you fooling?"
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then Anthony Anderson's character was interesting because
it
was weird because it was like he's doing something good, but he's also greedy about it.
Oh, I think it's also just kind of making fun of like people that try to present themselves as a complete nonprofit when you're doing that stuff, because a lot of that time, like, you can be a really good person and do exactly what Anthony Anderson was doing, making money off this and also donating a lot. Yeah. But he was just,
keep in mind,
trying to be the perfect person.
The Barbershop and what is it called? Gangster Grab. Keep in mind, as good as all this was, they probably lost it. In real life, they probably lost a shit ton of money. Dude, giving all that stuff for free.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm glad you brought up his character. There's a great cameo. There's a YouTube, she's like a YouTube celebrity now. Her name's Auntie V or Auntie Fee or something like that. It's the girl who was the chef for Gangster Grub. Okay, she's a YouTube celebrity, and she has this funny cooking show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look it up. I think it's Auntie Fee or V, one of those two. But look at it, cooking show. It's hilarious. She's just like, I don't know. She's her character. She's basically
that's the same thing.
Yeah, but like, yeah, it's funny.
I guess it's funny to bring her in then.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, please look it up. It's fucking hilarious.
Wow, they brought in a lot of big.
I got excited when I saw her because I've watched her videos before, and I was like, oh my god, that's awesome.
Funny, dude.
Yeah, good cameo.
Yeah, I'm really glad we saw this movie instead of like, because I went in thinking like, oh, I might not like this movie, but we should see it. Yeah, to give it a shot, and then
open mind.
It really surprised me on how well done it was.
Mm-hmm. They did a really good job.
Really good humor, really good social commentary, really good. Some decent performances out of all the huge cast.
And you know what? It didn't feel like a cash cow movie.
No, it did not.
It didn't feel like a cash cow franchise.
Usually with those, they do. Like
it's
any
hard
Adam
to get
Sandler
away
movie,
from that.
It's just like we're doing it for money.
You want to know the biggest plot twist of this entire movie that I was just like blown away at? There was no Kevin Hart in this movie.
Oh yeah,
he could have absolutely been in this movie.
What was really funny is we saw a lot
He's
of
probably filming 10 of the movies. That's why
with Kevin Hart, and I was like, he's in this movie then, isn't he? And I think I even asked you,
dude,
like, isn't Kevin Hart in this?
He's in everything.
Chris
Rock said he took his spot in as typical like black guy in movies.
Well, maybe Ice Cube actually wanted this movie to be good, so.
Oh,
I love Kevin Hart. I think he's hilarious.
He's not
I
that
just
bad.
don't think his movies translate well. Except I do think the one with him and The Rock might be funny.
Oh my god, he's getting that Seth Rogen thing. Remember when Seth Rogen was hot and he was in every movie?
You gotta hit the cash cow.
You turn on the TV and there was a Seth Rogen commercial. I think it stopped at Observe and Report. Like after that, he like really took a break.
Oh, I like that.
Maybe he did that so it would stop because that movie was controversial and like weird.
Yeah, maybe
it was a little offbeat.
Well, you know what? I think he's like, okay, who knows how long I'll be hot for? I have years.
Yeah.
I have decades to make good movies.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna make my money right now.
That's totally
Matthew McConaughey
fine.
did it.
Yeah, that's totally fine. You make all of your money and then you can respect yourself.
Absolutely.
Later.
What was I gonna say? Oh, damn it. Oh, but there was was it Ride Along with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart?
Mm-hmm.
Something, and they had that connection to maybe just bring him on because, you want that,
But
that
like
buddy connection.
Kevin's
Yeah.
schedule is probably booked though.
Yeah. But also to bring that up just for a side note, I think Ride Along in Central Intelligence with him and The Rock are kind of the same. Kevin Hart's
They are
like,
the
I
same.
don't want to do this guy. And then the Ice Cube and The Rock are just, we're going to do this.
Here's what it is. They're probably really good friends in real life. They probably make each other crack up on a daily basis, and they're like, let's just make like 30 million just filming us have fun.
Because like as much as
the Adam Sandler models. Like
as much as I just shitted on Kevin Hart, I think he's hilarious. I think that if you met him, he would be really funny. If you guys watch The Real Husbands of Hollywood, oh my god, that show is so fucking funny.
That could have been your pick instead of whatever.
God, I'll use it. I'll use it. But anyway,
We're done with those television picks.
think that I totally root for The Rock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we're getting way off topic, but I agree. And both The Rock and Kevin Hart are very charismatic, charming guys. You know what I mean? The Rock is just like his career is based on that.
They've done studies. He can save any franchise. They say.
I'm waiting for him to be in the next Pirates of the Caribbean,
dude.
We need him to be swinging on a chandelier, swashbuckling with his sword.
It would be good. I'm interested in the Baywatch movie. Because The Rock is
Baywatch movie.
Yeah, they're making a Baywatch movie with The Rock and Zac Efron and stuff. I'm interested in it because The Rock is in it.
You know what's funny is actually like The Rock like made Zac Efron get in like really good shape too for the movie.
Oh yeah,
I trained him.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, the last thing I'll say about Central Intelligence is that The Rock finally tells the truth about losing weight in that movie. He goes, "I only did one thing. I woke up at 6 in the morning, worked out for 6 hours every single day."
20 years.
For 20 years.
That's how actors do it, and they can do it. They have the time and money.
Anyways, back to Barbershop 2. I recommend Barbershop 3.
The next cut.
I recommend it. It was a good movie.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
I mean, go see it in movie theaters because it's good to support people. But if you saw it on HBO, it'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
It's
so he subtly said, I wouldn't pay for it, but I'll go see it on HBO.
Honestly,
I think it was worth the money we paid for
I think it was too.
It was fine.
I could have seen it on HBO. Honestly, okay. For me, I have to go in.
This is a guy that supported pirating like 3 weeks ago.
Dude, but I have to go to the theater to see like explosions and stuff.
I get it.
To make it. That movie is a total. I don't need to be visually charmed by it. So, like, I can watch it on a big screen.
But, you know what? There's something about... This is why the movies will never die to me. There's something about physically going to a movie theater and watching a movie. Like, getting popcorn.
That's all you're there for. You're sitting there, and this is what you want.
It's just an environment,
if you watch it at home, sometimes it's like, well, you can get easily distracted. There's other things going on.
True.
You can stop it and just interrupt the whole flow of the movie and do something else. Or the movie theater, that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
If anything, it's because you really got to go to the bathroom.
People complain, which I did during this movie. There's 10 minutes of this movie that I missed today because I went to the bathroom. That's why people get worried that, like, because everything's, like, on demand now and you can just, and they say eventually we'll just be able to order whatever we want on TV, which is true, but I don't think movie theaters will ever truly die. I just don't see it happening because it's an experience.
Yeah.
Then again, so was Blockbuster in Hollywood. You know, that was also an experience.
That experience just transformed into Netflix.
I could do the same. Yeah, I agree.
And Netflix will still send you movies. And
Barbershop 3 coming to HBO.
Eventually,
I'm sure. But go check it out in theaters because we want movie theaters to stick around.
I agree.
So
movie theaters will be fine. Just wait for it.
Okay, before we wrap up anything else on what we have to say about Barbershop 3, we have to talk about that this movie had a really big cameo in the credits. Guys, they got Barack Obama. Like, they got the real.
Absolutely
Barack
100%
Obama.
authentic Barack Obama.
Yes.
They got very close up to him with the camera, and they showed Barack Obama.
Yeah.
No, but I thought it was a really funny thing for them to do.
Yeah.
Since Barack Obama's from the South Side of Chicago, and Cedric the Entertainer talking about how he always used to give him a haircut.
He has the very ambiguous picture of him. Like,
with the mirror in front of his face, he goes, "You can tell by his ears."
I like that part.
That was really funny.
That was
and, then,
really good.
and then what do you know? At the end of the movie, he comes in for a haircut from Cedric the Entertainer.
The real Barack Obama.
The real Barack Obama.
Not some phony.
Totally not an impersonator that they totally would, if they were to use an impersonator, they would use really far angles and never show his
Yeah.
face.
And
That's
yeah, and it even sounds exactly like him.
It sounds totally on point. It was
'Cause it's
not
him.
fake whatsoever.
This is Barack.
Yeah. No.
He phoned in that that voice.
I can't make it to shooting, guys, but I'll call me and I'll do the recording.
What do you mean? He was there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he was actually on set. They got him on. It was a big. They talked about social things. His cameo was great.
So
The
that's
Barbershop is actually in the White House. They filmed it at the White House.
They filmed it.
We're
Not
losing,
all
we're
jokes
losing
land.
steam here.
No,
Did you say all jokes end?
I said not all jokes land.
Oh, I don't know which one's funnier. Well, that's our review for Barbershop
Yeah,
3.
definitely go check it out
Yeah,
or see it on
love it.
HBO if you have
Yeah.
Daniel's
Maybe
opinion.
we could
And
watch on HBO.
next week, what do we talk about? Vinyl finale?
Vinyl finale.
Better
There's a
Call
lot of
Saul
shows.
finale.
Saul finale?
There's a lot of shows coming to an end, and then there's Game of Thrones coming to a beginning.
Yeah, that's
it's
gonna be
still
great.
Are
So,
we-
check it out, guys.
Are we still doing Netflix picks?
You want us to do Netflix picks? I know it was a real fucking struggle last week.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt,
Okay,
season
that's
2.
it. We're not doing Netflix picks. We'll do them once a month or something.
Should I keep this in?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
All right, guys. See you next time.
See you next time. That's a foot.